Okay, so I'm hoping that means we're going.
Looks like it.
But
Hello.
all right, welcome to the horror show, everyone. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Brittany Lee.
I'm Fuego here.
And we are here to do our review of the brand new Jeepers Creepers 3. We just got out of the 7 o'clock showing that was across the nation. I'm not sure if so. Maybe the East Coast probably saw it a few hours ago, but nonetheless, we saw the first showing available here in Arizona, and that big old microphone is right in the fucking face. Jesus Christ!
Hello, microphone.
God.
Happy birthday, Cecil, guys, by the way. Give him your love.
Right?
This amazing showrunner and founder of everything that we do, man.
Okay, so we are going to do this like we normally do. We'll give our overall thoughts, and then we'll talk about story, acting, effects. I don't know how long this one's going to be, you guys. It just depends on what ends up happening. But first off, my overall thoughts, I fucking hated it. I thought it was awful. I thought it was an insult to the previous 2 installments, even though they were made 16 and 15 years ago. I am just so disappointed by this film. It was definitely Jeepers Creepers 1.5, like Fuego mentioned in the vehicle on the way back, and as such, it presented a shit ton of problems that I'll go into more as we go along. But Britt, what were your overall thoughts?
It was ridiculous. I was ready for it to be over like a half hour sooner than it was ready to be over, and I just like you said, it was 1.5. There was no stakes. You knew exactly where we were gonna end up, and it was so frustrating. And I didn't like any character.
Fuego?
There you go. It's sleep-inducing.
Yeah, Fuego
I will say,
saw about 20 minutes of it.
No. I saw most of the front half and most of the back half, but this movie...
What? That would be the whole movie. No, you did not. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you, buddy.
You missed it.
Decent portion, but I mean, did I miss anything? No, not so much.
No, I'm frankly jealous.
Yeah.
Right?
There was a reason why when I was awake during this movie, people were laughing in the audience at inopportune parts where they should not have been laughing. Specific creeper parts that you thought would be like, oh, he's going to come down and slash away and everything is going to be crazy. And there was laughter throughout the entire theater. And at a sold-out theater nearly, that's a bad sign. So, yeah, I honestly wasn't a big fan of the first or second one. So, there you go.
Move back into your right a little bit so Marsha can get in the frame.
Masha!
I'm in the frame.
Masha,
You're
Parker.
barely in the frame. Go ahead. What did you think?
Snuggle up to see
I think the best part of the movie was when I realized everybody was looking at Fuego because I could hear him like breathing really hard because he was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Numerous times.
Yeah.
Really?
It's okay, Fuego. It was
Aw,
really
thank
okay.
you.
No, I was a little disappointed because I mean, you nailed it when we were talking about it in our Jeepers Creepers 2 review, which you guys haven't seen yet, but just the fact of knowing that it's in between the first and the second one, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Why that was the choice that they went with. I don't feel like we gained any information, specifically when we probably should have given some plot points along the way. But yeah, I don't know what they were doing with this movie at all. I don't know if maybe it got cut weird, but I doubt it.
Was it R?
I don't think so.
It couldn't have been. I swear to God, this was the sci-fi Jeepers Creepers movie. Because there was very little actual gore in it.
Yeah.
And the little bit of stuff that we got was a little bit of stuff against the creeper, but by comparison to the first 2 movies, it was like nothing.
Yeah.
Especially the second one. Like, it was seriously I was like, this was made for the Sci-Fi Channel. There's nothing going on. They cut away from a lot of the kills.
Production value.
There's no eating of anything in the whole movie. Does he eat anything?
No, he's collecting bodies.
He doesn't.
He's collecting bodies.
He
That's
does.
all
I mean,
does.
he does it
He
off
did
camera
sniff
one
the
time.
girl. I
He
mean,
sniffed
like,
her.
He wanted to eat
He
her,
sniffed
but-
her, and he replaced his body parts a couple times, but we never saw it. We never heard it,
Yeah.
which was part of what was so awesome about the last ones, were those crunching sounds.
All
There's
you
no.
needed
There's no.
is
What do you mean
sound design.
this? There's no
Yeah.
cost to adding sound effects.
Yeah, well, I was thinking like the art of seeing the eating on screen.
We never really
We
saw
never-
that
No
we
backstory of the
eating.
creeper.
We
No,
just know
no,
it was
there
him eating. You know, you'd see him from behind, and he'd do this, and they'd add sound effects. And that's it.
There was no backstory on the creeper. They made it out like there was supposed to be a backstory that they were gonna reveal.
No, that was the tease for part 4.
Yeah, and there was
Yeah.
nothing.
What
yeah.
kind of bullshit
It's
is
it.
that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was playing for part 4.
It's
Literally,
all
the
this
whole
is.
movie
Was a
was
setup.
a
It's a
setup
setup
for
for
part
part
4.
four,
Yeah, and
It's
they'd actually
total
implied
bullshit.
that in some of the bits that were going around in like the social media and stories on Bloody
So
Discussing
just
and
give
Daily
us
Dead.
part 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
go right
just
to
go
that. That
straight
would have
to
been the
part
story
4.
we want to see anyway.
Yeah, exactly. There was no reason to let's make a setup for part 4. You have 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said that
That's
they
the
already
setup
have the
for
script
part
like done
4
for the
that
fourth
should be
one.
part 3.
Yeah.
So,
So the story is we pick up right after the end of part 1 with all the cops having just had the battle, and it flew away with Derry, and then the cop, this black guy who I guess survived the creeper with a group of guys over 20 years ago in the last go around, and he's been trying to track him down this time. So he arrives to try and put a stop to it, and he's working with the sheriff from the first movie. The guy does come back from the first movie. You know, he's a little bit heavier, a little bit older, but
despite supposedly being like,
despite being the same night, yeah. But nonetheless, that's the setup, and so that's one of the plots, and then the other plot is this
Hackneyed
girl,
love
yeah, this
story.
horrible,
It was-
terrible love story between this
freckle-faced kid.
like he had more freckles than I've ever seen on a person in my life, and
I'm
it was so
surprised
distracting.
That they did not put makeup on him.
It was so distracting,
And
so
this
distracting.
girl never says anything. She just stares at people.
Yeah,
She doesn't do anything.
She's tormented.
She's just
tormented. She has a horse that she's getting food for.
She's a tormented soul that got abandoned
because
by
she
her
lives
mother.
with her crazy grandmother.
Yeah.
Like dude, I'm not sure which one of them is crazy, or her or the grandmother.
Yeah,
The
there's
crazy grandmother was really overdoing it in the scenes that I saw.
Was she
It
in the first one?
no.
No.
There was zero characters to like in this movie.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember.
No one to even latch onto. You couldn't even latch onto the creeper as the thing you wanted to see, because
No.
he was barely in it, and it's almost entirely daytime creeper.
That's the one thing that I thought was weird, was that they shot so many scenes, except for in like the back half when I was getting a little more. Yeah, but is it more cost effective to shoot in daytime because of the lighting aspect or something?
I don't
like,
know
I'll
why.
say
Yeah,
this
yeah,
much,
because you
when
don't have to
it
pay for
was-
lighting.
No.
When it was dark out, you couldn't see the screen. Like, it was so
Yeah.
dark. I was like,
He was
what?
always presented dark though. So that's
No.
what we said.
The beginning of the movie, it was the
The
film
dusk
was
scene.
so
The dusk
dark.
scene, right? You couldn't see anything.
You couldn't tell, and I was like confused. I was like, I can't tell if this is just because they have the side lighting on that you can't really see anything, or if it's just shot so horribly, or they're like over color corrected or something where you just can't make anything
The
out.
color
I
was
like,
way off.
I really hope this whole movie isn't like this. So when it switched to daytime, I was actually like, thank God.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if the whole movie's like this, then I can't watch this.
And the truck, so the truck comes back because the
It's
truck.
all about the truck, actually.
Yeah,
Actually,
it
the
is.
truck
Yeah,
was
it really
one of the
is.
coolest
That's
bits.
like
And, I
the
mean, when
whole-
those nails came down when she was
That's
trying
not
to
what.
escape.
But that's such a small thing in such a long movie.
That's
like,
why I'm saying one of the only things that I
Yeah.
thought was cool.
Oh, it's so frustrating. So the
Kinda
truck is
like-
apparently like a saw trap,
Mm-hmm.
but not even a very clever one by any stretch. Like the bars, and that makes zero fucking sense. Okay, where the hell are those bars coming from? Underneath
Oh,
the
yeah.
bumper and above the car? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? They're not
They're magical-
rolling
they're
shutters.
magical bars.
And
Like,
They're
they just
magical
appear
bars
from
come straight down.
nowhere.
Yeah.
Because it was
Magical.
total CGI. That's why.
Yeah,
Eh,
magical
oh
bars.
my god. Okay, let's just go into that.
Cecil.
Oh, you know,
I'm so angry,
I have to say, what I couldn't stand is, I swear, it's in each movie they make him a different color. In the
Yeah.
first movie, he
Yes,
was like
good
these
point.
black
Yeah.
and gray colors.
He
In the
was
second
so
movie,
muddy
he
in
was
this one.
blue, and this one he was black and gold, and
He was-
And he changed colors like throughout the movie, like
And
4
his
different
eyes,
times.
Did you notice the eyes were blue when they definitely should have been brown because he had
Yeah,
just,
because
No,
he just
no.
took Darius.
No. Oh, you're right.
He
They
has
should, because
different
in this
eyes.
timeline, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right,
Just
in this
took
timeline.
Darius.
Yeah, because his
Because
eyes
of
are
different
blue
Yeah.
in part 2. But yeah, you're right. He should have Darius'
Because he-
eyes right
because he
now.
took the
So
eyeballs.
frustrating.
By the way, no mention of the song at all. No Jeepers
No,
Creepers.
no Jeepers
Not,
Creepers.
so
Well,
did they?
there
No, there
was
was the one,
that
the
liner,
kid.
the
Yeah,
one
the
liner.
black kid.
Oh,
So,
yeah, but
but
that's
that was
even
shown
in
in
the
the
trailer,
trailer.
like-
Yeah.
So that you don't hear it, there's no like
No.
warning of the creeper. And can I just say, like, they had fun making the creeper scary in the second one. They had him leap up on the bus sideways. They had him come down in the back window and like weed through the kids upside down and then lick the fucking window upside down. This one, he like literally walks up to one window and then jumps over and drops down on the other window on the other side. He doesn't even bother trying to like freak with them and get them scared, which is the whole reason. If he gets you scared, that's how he can smell your shit. Not literally,
They
but
were
the thing
already-
he wants.
They were already scared though. They got scared like really.
They got their car flipped, and then he screamed and he broke the window. Like, why didn't he use that in the next one? If
I
he
was
could
in
use
the
that
trailer
in
with
this
the blood
one.
on the window. And
I don't know.
smash
Yeah,
and-
but that
yeah.
that even the color went wrong on that, and it didn't even
Mm.
look like
Like-
his eye was in a different part of the
Yeah.
of the window than where all the blood
Yeah.
was, because
Oh,
his whole
yeah.
face was red.
Oh, and then all of a sudden it was clean. When they cut to the next scene, that spot that he'd wiped away was completely clean.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
it was.
That's
it was
right,
all
'cause he
mucky when
he
you looked
shatters
through
it, right? Yeah.
When you looked
Mhm.
through it, it was still muddy. But then right after it was clean, and I was like,
Yeah.
But
Oh.
I wanted to get to the CG, you guys. Again,
Okay,
we're not
yeah.
we're not going to spoil anything. And there's again, if you've seen part 1 and part 2, and you know this goes between, then you know that like we figured out. Like we were reviewing part 2. Excuse me. We were reviewing part 2 right before we went, and it occurred to me, wait, if this is in. If this happens after part 1, which was all the hype, you know, oh, this is a sequel to part 1, great. Now I know, because part 2 takes place 3 days after part 1, that nothing's gonna happen to the creeper in this because he's up and around at the beginning of part 2.
Yeah.
So there was again
I'm
no
actually-
stakes at all, and what I want to really hit right now is the fucking CGI.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Why did they do that? Like, it was the whole point
All
of the coolness.
all of the flying was so terribly.
No, but
Oh my
even
God.
even the flying in part 2 was bad, but it even wasn't this bad. And I'm talking about the fucking mines that come out from under the
yeah.
truck that were so clearly CGI and horrible.
You know what? It reminded me of your favorite movie, Phantasm.
It kind of did a little
Oh,
bit.
take-
No,
hey,
but the
Mario
Phantasm
Kart.
effects were way better
I
than
admit that the later Phantasm films, I mean, after number 2, they went off the rails.
No, the one you made me watch. That one.
Oh
that-
God, that movie-
Ravager.
Yeah.
I'm so
that's-
sad that
That-
that's
oh, that's-
the only.
okay,
I'm
that
so
level of
sad
CG, yeah.
that
Yeah.
that is the only Phantasm film that you've watched because it's the worst.
It's not much
Phantasm
better
film.
than the rest of them, or it's
But
not
I'm
much worse
just-
than the rest of them.
But what I'm trying to say is like those graphics.
Yeah.
They're on the same level.
Yeah, the CG is awful, you guys.
I
And
love Phantasm.
there's even like a
not Ravager though.
a scorpion like harpoon kind of thing that comes out of the truck at one point that flies for like 5 football fields, and then when we see it again, it's like only like 30 feet away from
Right.
the truck. Like, there's just so much that they
Okay,
screw
I just
up.
have to really claim this guy calling us hipsters like 2 or 3 times, bro. Really? We're talking about a niche horror film, and it's like the 2nd or 3rd time, and he's like exclamation point city right here. What's up, buddy?
So why even address it?
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
I
Anyway,
I don't understand why he's calling us hipsters.
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
Whatever. If you address it,
You had
it
to
just
see-
draws attention to
Yeah,
them.
you
Now
had to
they
see
think
the
they're
first
winning.
comment.
You don't do
Yeah.
that. Internet 101, man. Don't feed the trolls. But yeah, so this movie was really, really bad, you guys. And then the one sort of redeeming quality was, if this movie had literally just been like the last 5 seconds as, you know, a short on the internet, to whet my appetite for the real Jeepers Creepers 3, that would have been fine.
Which is where we got the aforementioned.
We get the
person
little
from the first film.
exactly. We get a cameo from Trish, which again was ruined in all of the press leading up to it. Was
Because
that
they
she
said she was going to be in there.
she was going to be in it, and so I'm waiting the whole time until she shows up, and then it's like, oh, at the very end, and again, like Brittany was saying, they allude to the fact that you're supposed to learn so much about the creeper. You're supposed to learn his past. And then, like,
They never reveal
they
it.
never reveal it, and like,
They're
he
saving it
finds
all
out
for
that
the
someone
fourth
knows
film.
something, and he
Oh yeah, he breaks down
he
and
like
like,
does this
ah,
he does this Vader
so
scream kind of
dramatic
thing.
and then
Oh
we're
my
like,
god! Oh, I forgot to mention.
we're like,
Guys, even the
What?
birds are CG in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crows, except for the very first shot,
Well, they had
the
that
crows
abundance in that one shot.
were
early
so.
on,
But
right?
there was some that like they had moving around, and they just moved like computer generated crows from 2001.
Yeah.
Like it was so bad,
Oof.
so bad, you guys. This movie sucks.
it's terrible. Do not waste your money.
Don't waste your
Don't
money.
waste your time.
Don't go support
waste your
this.
time.
Here, let me say that. I know if you're going, it's not to support the director, but if you're going to
Don't go to
satisfy your curiosity
About
or
the franchise.
go back to it, then don't. I mean, it's just a waste
Or
of
just
time
wait.
and a waste of money.
Just wait
Complete
until
waste.
Netflix or
Absolute
something,
complete
or
waste.
I wouldn't pay money to see it, but I mean, as a person that likes the series, I mean, I would still go and see number 4. If
I
it
would
came
too,
out.
actually. If they
I'm like-
continue with the thread they ended this with, I would too.
Yeah, I thought that this movie was unnecessary, and they didn't add any value to the story, which makes
I think
me
they
wonder,
took value away.
Oh, I
Yeah.
absolutely took value
They
away.
didn't
for
add
sure.
anything. Like, they had an opportunity to give us at least a little bit of information
So it was kind of like
to
Rise of
lead
the
us
Lycans.
into. I like Rise of the Lycans.
Yeah.
Anyway, I forgot where I was going with that now.
You were saying why you would like
Derailed
to
Marsha.
see a fourth.
Fuego
They
los
had
interrupters.
a chance to actually give us more information to lead us into the next chapter, but they took it away for some reason. They
Mhm.
didn't actually reveal it.
Yeah.
And there was the scene where they were having premonitions, we'll call it, that actually fed them what the creature is and how to defeat it. Yet it didn't really make sense, because the one chick, she figured it out but didn't tell anybody what the message was. So then the other guy figures it out, and then he doesn't even use it to his benefit. So
We never learn what either
And
of them
we don't
went
know
into
what it
trance is
is.
about.
Yeah. Nope.
and
Just that he's ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
we already,
We already
knew
knew that. He's
Like,
thousands of years old. That means you're ancient.
So it
Like,
didn't make sense. Like, you
oh
got
my
more
gosh.
information, but it
We got no
didn't
information.
work. I don't know.
We want
And
information.
That's why I'm wondering
We
if
want
they cut
information.
stuff out or what happened.
And it's like,
Who are you?
Who cares if they like? Oh my god.
were they trying to go funny? Because if they were,
No,
it
I
didn't,
don't
it
think
didn't
so.
I
work.
do not think the
No,
humor
all the
was
laughter
intentional.
came
I
at,
hated
at
it.
points at which it was not supposed to be laughter. It was supposed to be
The-
tense, slow motion action.
That was not tense at all. That was like, it was like,
I was watching
it was like,
Beat
it's like,
movie.
it was like scary movie type shit, you know, where they're like
It was
totally
really
making
bad.
fun of it.
Well, yeah, the slow mo bits, though,
Oh
and
my
that
gosh,
was
it
where
was
most
When
of the
they-
laughter
I'm
was
telling you,
gun
transpiring.
scene
all of
where
the
they
with the ricochets.
Yeah,
Oh,
Well, no, just when they finally shot him.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
well yeah. But I'm talking the
And once
ricochets
again-
were so bad because even the bullet holes in the truck were CG bullet holes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
were painted on. I'm like, what are you guys
And
doing?
plus, that guy died off screen too. You know, so. Yeah.
Jesus.
oh yeah, and then their bodies just magically disappeared from the truck. There were no bodies at all.
Oh yeah, good point.
No, they probably were captured.
No, but it went inside.
Anyway,
No, the only did you catch the foreshadowing though? Like, because they were talking about the bunny in a trap, and then she ends up being the bunny in the
oh
trap.
god.
Yeah.
And then they set it free at the. Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh Jesus. So heavy-handed.
Symbolism.
So heavy-handed.
Symbolism.
All right, guys.
Symbolism.
All right. I guess I can't read that from here. I'm too far, but let me
I don't know,
let
the
me
guy
see if
with
they
the
have any
circles was
particular.
really
I'm at 4%,
distracting.
so
Yeah, they say third time's a bomb. We've got
CGI absolutely ruined the
the guy with all the freckles was really distracting
This
too.
movie, the machine guns. the
CGI
machine was
freckles.
Straight out of the machete.
yeah,
That's
it
pretty
felt like they
rude.
did CGI.
That
with
is
that.
great.
What?
'Cause there were certain
Exactly.
scenes where
Thank you,
he-
Rogue Reaper. What's a Creepers movie without some flesh eating?
Honestly, I felt like the Freckles kid, since I was the Freckles kid when I was younger, I felt like maybe they put a bunch of makeup on him in certain scenes, and then there were other ones where it was like very apparent and obvious. So.
Well, we actually have a few people that saw it also.
Yeah.
The guy with the freckles was really distracting. The machine gun scene was straight out of Machete, except done worse in my opinion. This will be Salva's last movie.
Call me crazy, but I still really want to see the next one. That's what somebody says right there. Oscar.
Yeah.
Well, I said the same thing. You know, I mean, I'm not ready to give up on the series quite yet. I want to see the next installment. Wish that this was the next installment and not a
Victor Crowley
flashback.
Yeah, Brandon from Jerks is like, Victor Crowley will make up for all this, right?
I hope so.
Well, the other confusing part was like, I'm sitting here going, now all the people in the movie, I'm like, am I supposed to remember these from like 15 years ago? Like, is this why these characters are here? Because they're all older, they're all like really unimportant, and
yeah, it's
they're
supposed
all
to be like the
characters
same time.
Yeah, why? You know, we could have had that story, a prequel story that was like why all these guys got into this crap.
yeah.
You know?
But they don't. I don't know. Like, so the whole time I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to know who these people are, but I don't, and I don't care about them.
Yeah,
like,
you don't care about, and when they die, you're like, oh, gee, that. Okay.
Yeah.
Even Cecil, because he watched them earlier, I'm like, was this guy in it? No. Was this
Justin
person
Long
in it?
cameo? No,
Nope,
there was
no
no
Justin
Justin
Long
Long cameo.
Sister cameo.
There was at the
Jeff
very
Sample
end.
says, "You bet your sweet ass." Best line in the movie. Really? The fucking part with the cop when he's like, "Can you still sharpshoot?" And he's like, "You bet your sweet ass." That's the best line, Jeff. Really?
Well,
I hope you're being facetious about
can
that.
you
Like,
pick a better one?
Sarcasm. Sarcasm is tough to translate on the internet.
Jesus, I'm sure I could if I went back, because that was one of the cheesiest, worst lines in the movie. I
maybe
saw.
that's
$14 they'll never get back. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, I'm glad I got to see it. I'm glad I got to go through it with you guys. But yeah, it's not the movie we wanted. Definitely not the movie we wanted.
Yeah, this was a bummer, you guys. So
It was laughably horrible.
yeah,
I didn't even laugh.
I didn't laugh at all.
I didn't laugh either. No, I didn't.
I
Laugh.
didn't think it was funny.
Every time people were laughing, I was just like,
Yeah, I didn't.
"Why
even
are you
when they were out.
laughing? It's
This-
so bad."
This was a straight waste of an hour and 40 minutes, in my
was
opinion.
terrible.
I mean, not a waste, because now I know how much I hate it.
And
Yeah.
knowing is half
But
the battle.
yeah, I know I never need to watch it again, ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
I'm gonna stop buying you tickets because every time I buy you guys tickets to go see a movie, it bombs. So
Yeah, I don't know, Marsha. Maybe it's the Marsha
It
juju.
doesn't work.
maybe.
All right, guys.
There you
Well,
go.
thank you very much for joining us. That's going to cover our review of this movie. I don't want to waste any more time on it, quite frankly.
Without disappointment, we couldn't appreciate the films we love. Is that what that guy's
I
saying?
guess so, but I do appreciate the first two more now after seeing this. Even though I just watched them yesterday and I still kind of liked them. This, oh my god, this made them seem like fucking The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. That's what this one made the first two feel like. That's how bad this was.
Yeah,
So
3 is the bad
Mariano
Godfather
says,
film.
"Happy birthday, Cecil."
oh, thank you,
Still has
thank you
a
for all the
couple
birthday
more
wishes, you
hours.
guys.
Yeah,
I got a
we
couple
love this
hours
guy.
left, but thank you guys very much for joining us for our review of Jeepers Creepers 3. Definitely, if you're gonna watch it, it's at your own risk. We do not recommend it by any stretch of the imagination. I'm gonna spring it on us. If we had to give it a grade out of 10, I'm gonna give it
Somebody thought this was the best one.
I'm gonna give it a probably a 2 or a 3. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 10. Brittany,
I give it.
speak up.
I'll give it one severed creeper wing.
One severed creeper
One
wing out of
severed
10.
creeper
All right, Fuego.
Definitely 2 eyeballs, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll give it a 1.5 stars.
Woo! Man, that's a lot of
Half
low
an
scores
eyeball.
out of 10, you guys.
So he ate half the eyeball.
Not in this movie, he didn't.
No.
Anyway.
He didn't eat anything.
Wow.
Jesus.
He ate
You
Anyway,
ate my money.
thanks very much for
Oh.
watching. That's actually the most accurate thing that's been said tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Ring that bell in order to get notifications of all of our awesome videos. We do 2 episodes a day. If you guys haven't ever checked out the channel, we do reactions, news. We did the live news earlier today. Reviews, obviously, celebrity interviews, Let's Plays, all kinds of stuff, all under the horror umbrella. We greatly appreciate you watching, and until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Brittany Lee.
I'm Marjorie.
Gracias, I'm having fuego.
We don't know who we are.
And until next time, remember,
Stay
scared.
I eat trolls for breakfast.
Alright, I'm gonna turn this thing off now.
Bye.
It was so bad.
So